Welcome back. We appreciate you joining us on This Week in the Valley. Our show features people who are making a difference and events that are taking place all over the Valley. I'm Donna Bell.
And I'm Darren Elizaris. We have a great show for you, and joining us a bit later are John Taylor and DJ with the Macon County Sheriff's Department and Gene Jones with AARP. Cameron Christopher and Jeannie Nail join us from Lock Haven Senior Center with another volunteering in the Valley.
Well, Halloween weekend has finally arrived. It's officially time for scary jack-o'-lanterns, horror films, candy apples, eyeball stew, and monsters roaming the streets. This weekend is sure to be a frightful delight.
Well, this really is a great time of year, and I got to say I enjoy when the kids bringing the candy home and having it laying around a little bit to test it for them. That's all I'm doing.
You got your costume all picked out?
You know, I was looking at a few. Kids have all theirs, so that's all that counts.
That's the most important. Yeah. Well, we want to make sure you and your kids have a fun and safe Halloween and have a few tips from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to share.
Make sure your kids have a light meal before they head out so they are not tempted to snack while they are running around the neighborhood trick-or-treating.
And remind your children to wait until you've had a chance to inspect the contents of their goodie bags before they indulge. For a complete list of safety tips, go to fda.gov and click on food.
Living in a rural area, most of us know our neighbors, but if you don't or your kids are venturing out, another Halloween safety tip that you should consider is to get on the internet and check your local state website for sex offenders. As bad as it sounds, this is a fact of life now.
And know the route your kids will be taking if you're not going with them. If you are driving your kids from Grandma and Grandpa's house to aunts and uncles' homes or to other parts of the town, beware of the increased foot traffic.
Streets will literally be crawling with all sorts of witches, ghosts, goblins, and other sorts of costumed people. This makes for added responsibility for drivers to make sure that they drive safer than normal.
Help your young child pick out or make a costume that will be safe. Make sure that it's fireproof. If they are wearing a mask of any kind, make sure that the eye holes are large enough for good peripheral vision.
These are just a few quick tips to make Halloween a fun, safe, and happy time for your kids.
Well, we have a treat for you. Our first guest, John Taylor with the Macon County Sheriff Department, and his dog, DJ, have had quite an experience. They join us now to share their story. And we are out at Long Branch Area Lake on a beautiful fall breezy day, and I am in the presence of two superstars. We've got John Taylor and DJ, and so the big news is that you recently were on the Steve Harvey show. How exciting was that?
It was definitely a good experience. From a small town like Macon, a lot of people don't get the experience to go to Chicago and be on an actual TV show. So we definitely had fun. It was interesting taking canines in Chicago with a lot of people. So we definitely had a lot of fun.
So, what was the story? It was called the Canine
for Cops program invited us up there. They were Chrissy Sheeler was invited by Steve Harvey to be on the show for Harvey's Heroes. We were the closest within driving distance. We were about 4 or 5 hours out, so they invited us to drive up there with 5 other canines in the area. Seats.
And she did something really special. I mean, what was tell us about her situation and why she started this organization.
She is the founder of Canine for Cops, which to implement a canine unit in a small department takes a lot of money, takes a lot of manpower and a lot of effort. She awarded us her grant back last year to pay for Canine DJ and a lot of his training. We just had to provide for the hotel, so we went to Anniston, Alabama and training. So in the end, she's the only reason we really have a canine unit in our department.
My next guest is a wife and a mom who saw a need in her community and did something about it. She now works tirelessly providing trained police dogs to departments across the country. Please welcome the founder of Canines for Cops and today's Harvey's Hero. Please welcome Christy. Hi, Christy. So, Christy, tell us about Canines for Cops.
Canines for Cops just celebrated their 4th year. We give, as you said, we give trained canine dogs to law enforcement agencies. And people just don't realize, Steve, the level of ninja that they do. It's not just find narcotics, maybe go into a fire afterwards, chase down a bad guy, find a missing child. that they do so much more to provide a layer of protection to keep our streets safe.
Wow. Why is it so hard for police departments and departments to get these canines?
Budget costs. We feel that at Canines for Cops that your safety shouldn't be hindered. Your streets should not be less safe because of a budget cut. In Houston alone, in the past 3 years, our canines resulted in over 400 arrests, taken $3.5 million worth of cash off the streets, over 85 weapons. We had one dog in one night do a $23 million bust. Why would you not want that for your department?
Where did you get this idea for all of this?
4 years ago, it was at Christmas time, and I was just thinking to myself, you know, the holidays and paying it forward, and I saw in the news that a canine officer lost his dog in the line of duty. So I called the county, and I called some politicians, and I said, I want to give a dog anonymously. They said, well, it's not that easy, and you have to, there's a lot of red tape. Well, I realized, I started doing my homework, it's $10,000 to $15,000 a dog. It can go up to $30,000 for a specialized dog. And I couldn't turn my back on the fact that there was not an agency in the United States that did this. And now we're in 25 states, and we've given 90 dogs.
90 dogs. Wow. Well, you know, Christy, you've helped so many communities out there with your hard work. There are actually some folks who want to thank you. So come on out. Here they come. Well,
he was my inspiration. He's the one that lost his dog. His dog saved his life in the line of duty. And now he sits on my board. He has a beautiful family that's become part of my family. And Officer Ted Dolan.
Ted, nice to meet you, sir. Thank you. You've got something that you want to say to Christy. Go for it.
Yeah, as she just said, I lost my canine partner. But because of your generosity, you got me back on the street, fighting crime. You know, I don't think people realize how much these dogs bring to the table and how much these officers and departments count on them on a daily basis. And it's due to people like you, thank God, the generosity and your tireless effort that allows these guys to go out and do their job safer. And, you know, because of your passion, and my dog didn't die in vain.
Wow. Christy, you are a true hero. And so this is just a jacket. Just want to keep everybody cool. All right, here we go. And we had this made for you. This is a Harvey's Hero jacket because you are a Harvey's Hero for all you do. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate all of you police officers for all you do. Thank you so much.
Department.
So let's talk about this wonderful dog. He kind of looks German Shepherd, but he's not German Shepherd.
No, ma'am, he's a Belgian Malinois. He comes from Holland. I originally started out with a German Shepherd. Some things went wrong in the academy after halfway through, so they gave me a canine DJ. At first, I was kind of hesitant on a Malinois, but I wouldn't train him for anything in the world.
So how long have you been training with DJ? How long together?
We've been training since the end of February. So, and we train about every day, sometimes a couple times a week for the whole day. Just different tracking, different odor works for narcotics and people searches, search and rescue.
So how did you get to be the lucky one to be paired up with with the canine?
I grew up with dogs my entire life. My parents raised dogs, and I've watched TV shows, and it's nothing like on the TV shows. It's a lot of them are like, well, it looks easy. It's definitely not easy to handle a dog, especially with as hyper as he is.
Yeah, he's quite busy.
So I told Kevin, I was like, well, I'm gonna try to get a canine unit. So I started our golf tournament. I went around to our local businesses, explained what we were trying to do, and I showed him the stats of all the canines and how much they save work and save manpower for tracking and different narcotics interdictions on the highway. And he gave me the go-ahead, so that's when I started working, and I found the grant and went to Canine for Cops.
So he has been quite successful in the Macon County area. Tell us about some of his successes.
Well, actually last night, starting yesterday, about 2:50 in the afternoon, we did a traffic stop on 36. We got a bunch of whacks coming out of Colorado, headed to Hannibal. We got one felony arrest out of it. Last night, we did a traffic stop in Bevier. We had a passenger run from us through the town of Bevier. We tracked him. It was a successful track. Since mid-April, we've got approximately 56 felony arrests with him, assisted in himself. So that's a lot of arrests for just April.
Yes, very busy. And one of the biggest drug busts was because
correct. We actually had an individual come to our jail, show up to our jail to bond an individual out from the highway patrol that he assisted with the highway patrol earlier that day. After running him around the individual's vehicle, we acquired approximately 3.5 pounds of marijuana and 80 grams of methamphetamine. And there was throwing stars, throwing knives, the typical stop for what would go along with that much narcotics. Seats.
You want to show us a few things that DJ can do?
Oh, he's got a few tricks. We've taught him a bunch of tricks for throughout the months for a lot of the public events for the kids. The kids really love him because he's real gentle around the kids. Sit pretty. Good boy.
All right.
Can you spin? Oh. Off leg again. Off. Dead. Door over. Oh, good boy, yeah. DJ, sit. Blijf. Steen. DJ, can you count 3? Good boy. Yep, and as you can see, he can count up to 10 on barks. If I tell him how many times, that's how many times he'll bark. I've yet to figure out how to get him to bark once. As you can see, DJ, can you bark once? Yep, he doesn't like one, so. See. He can shake, he can sit pretty, he can roll over, dive.
How old is DJ?
He's about 2.5 now. Yep. Dive.
In his prime, or?
Yep, definitely in his prime. He'll work until he's about 10.
Yeah.
See.
So does he come home with you?
He does.
So he's your partner and your friend.
He is. I've got him a kennel. Actually, it was probably 3 weeks after I got him home. I should have read his little manifest from Holland because it told him not to put him in a chain link pen. Well, I put him in a chain link fence inside my garage. Well, I get a call saying he's chewed out my chain link fence, broke through my window, and sat on my front porch. So that was definitely an experience. So now he stays inside. So he chews through chain link kennels. I'm not sure why, but you can't keep him in one.
Well, he's got something exciting coming up with a Canine Olympics.
He does. Canine for Cops in Harrison County, Texas, hosts Canine for Cops, which is National Olympics for police canines. It's just we get our continuing education training, get handler experience for younger handlers. We go down to Houston and we do hard dog, fast dog, which is the apprehension of taking suspects down. We'll do tracking and get all of our research and everything. And hopefully DJ is going to win the fast dog competition. He's pretty quick. As you can see, he's not real big, but he's fast. So we call him a pocket mouse.
A pocket mouse?
Yep, because he's so small.
Uh-huh.
See.
So some of those commands that you're saying to him, those are things, I mean, sometimes it doesn't even sound like it's English, but maybe it is.
Nope, it's actually Dutch.
It's Dutch,
yep,
okay.
We teach the patrol dogs a different language. That way a suspect, if he's on somebody, can't tell him to stop. Instead of saying stop, it's blijven, no. Release is los. Just different commands. Sometimes he knows when I'm angry if I use English. So he definitely perks up. I'm in the process of teaching him actually Sweden, which is Czech. That's on my old Shepherd, so I got used to those commands. So I went from English to Czech with Reno, my Shepherd, and now I'm on Dutch. So he actually knows 3 languages, which he knows Czech. Sydney, Sydney, good boy, good boy. And he knows English, which he knows, that's Steven. He's excited.
Yeah, there's a lot going on out here. Lots of things to see and space to run in.
Yep, he's definitely, if he sees anything, he's got to see what it is.
So he makes public appearances, and you welcome that?
Yep, if there's anybody that would like us to come show him off to you guys, he loves meeting new people. We went to the back to the school with that, the church there across from Walmart in town. We went to the Shoes from the Heart. They're out at the fairgrounds. We read at that, and there's hundreds of kids that hang on to him and hug him and play with him.
And that's okay, because sometimes you don't want him to touch them, or he's okay with that.
He's definitely okay with it. He knows the difference between when it's relaxed time and when it's work time. You can definitely tell. Watch him. Watch him. You can tell as he perks up, because he knows, he's like, oh, well, what's going on here? We're going to work now. And there's a big difference between when it's playtime, when it's work time. So we definitely want to keep him a sociable dog, because, like I said, the kids love him. Every time I go somewhere, they're like, oh, well, hey, we're friends with DJ. We've seen him before. So
he's like a little celebrity.
Oh yeah, he eats it up.
Well, that's great. Well, it's been a pleasure visiting with you and meeting DJ.
Yep.
And
we definitely appreciate you guys having us.
Well, if you have good luck with the Olympics and all your future endeavors that this pup will take you on.
It's definitely been an interesting few months with him. It makes you sit back and think of what we do before we had a canine, because as much as he does, it definitely helps us out, and he's paid for himself many times over and over. So.
Well, that's great. Well, we're lucky to have him, and lucky to have you with him and taking care of Macon County.
All right, well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Yep, appreciate it. Okay.
Watch
all right, DJ.
Watch it. Watch it.
I'm ready.
Stand it. You can let it go. Good boy. Good boy. Platz.
Oh, my goodness. He is strong.
Good boy.
You are so strong. Okay, yeah, I don't want it back. You can have it. It's all yours, buddy.
Thanks, John and DJ. Good luck in the Olympics. And doing good is good for you.
Good health is as much of a journey as it is a destination. Traditionally, our health has been left to the care of our doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals who have done so much for us in clinical settings.
In recent years, we have started to realize that good health means much more than a set of numbers tracking height, weight, heart rate, and cholesterol. It starts with the individual.
It means taking an integrated approach to well-being that includes not only our physical health, but our emotional health, our sense of purpose, our connections to our community, and our overall quality of life.
There are many paths to good health, but regardless of which we take, volunteering can help us. Not sure where you can help? Our final guests, Jean Jones with AARP, and Activity Director Cameron Christopher, and Jeannie Nail, Activity Assistant with Lock Haven, have some ideas.
Welcome back. We're volunteering the Valley once again. This program is a cooperative effort between CVTV and the Long Branch area chapter of AARP. And we present this program every couple of weeks to bring a community group or agency on and let them talk about their volunteer needs. And we hope that some of you out there will hear this, will become aware that there's a need that says, hey, that fits me. That sounds like a place where I could work and be useful and get some satisfaction from giving back a bit. Today we have 2 representatives from Lock Haven. We have Cameron Christopher, who is the activity director, and Jeannie Nail, who is an assistant in the activity department. They're going to talk to you about some of the needs that they have for volunteers in their organization. Cameron, tell us a little bit about the kind of volunteering you have currently and where the greatest needs are at the present time.
We have volunteers who come in and spend time with just the residents, spend quality time one-on-one with them, connecting with them, getting to know them, you know, finding like where their roots started. That's where I like to start my like one-on-one with, is finding out who they are. A simple visit with them, maybe sitting down and writing a letter for them if they have trouble writing. Reading to them out of a book if, you know, their sight as we get older, you can't see as well, and reading to them, you know, that brings pleasure to them, especially if they really like to read.
Right.
Well, I know my mom was an avid reader to the very end of her life. Fortunately, her vision was still good enough that she could read to herself, but I remember her reading to us as children. And this also inspires a love of reading, both in the reader and the listener. How about other things like playing games or just talking about the good old days?
Right. Playing games, like a simple game of checkers or a card game. A lot of people played pitch back then, and so I have a few who like to play that, but you know, some people don't know how to play, so then it's like trying to find people who can play, get them together just for a simple short game.
And you know, I know that some of your residents probably have very limited family still living, or that may not live in the area at this time, and a lot of their friends have passed. That would probably be the case with me if I were a resident in a place like Lock Haven, which is a great place to be if it's necessary, but it can also be very lonely. Jeannie, I understand that you'd help with a special activity over there. Would you like to tell us a little more about that and the kind of volunteers that you're looking for your specific area?
Okay. I work with the Memory Walk, the Alzheimer's Memory Walk. Been on the committee for 2 or 3 years. We raise money to help fight and hopefully find a cure for Alzheimer's. We need volunteers that like to bake, that like to do crafts. We do sales to, you know, raise money, so at the end of the year we always have our walk in September, and that's when, you know, we turn in all of the money. We try to sell items. We've had the purse, I think the old bag sales, what we call it, but it's people donate their older purses that they don't use anymore. We've made a really good amount of money with that project.
They had like 232 purses,
yes,
I think, at
232 purses the last time.
That's wonderful. So if you've got old purses in your closet, don't throw them away.
Right.
Give them to Jeannie, and she will
right.
turn them into something really worthwhile for a lot of folks.
Yes.
And I know this sounds like we're talking really early, but you actually start your organization for the next year, and you're planning for the next year in November.
Yes, we start in November. We already have a date set up to start, you know, organizing. We desperately need volunteers to help on this organization that, you know, would do a bake sale with us or just any kind of a fundraiser.
Do you have a set time, or will that be something you'll plan next month for your bake sale? And
we'll start planning next month. We have to meet with the organization in the association in Columbia, and they help us start out and get stuff rolling.
I bet if I get a date for your bake sale, I bet we can put it on a future telecast.
That's right. When we have a date, I'll let you know.
So that's what we're talking about, folks. It may be as simple as bake a big batch of cookies. It may be go and walk. There's a number of things you can do. And you'll hear this theme from me till you're sick and tired of it, probably. Everybody has something to contribute.
Right. Yes.
It may seem small to you, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle isn't complete without that 1,000th piece.
That's right.
And you may be the 1,000th piece to solving this puzzle. So tell me about anything else you've got going on now or in the near future that you'd like to tell us about, that you want the folks out there watching to be aware of.
We have a craft show that we host every year coming up, November 6th, and it's at Lock Haven, and it's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we also have a Veterans Day, like little ceremony on November 11th at 2 p.m. in the North Activity Room at Lock Haven to honor our veterans.
I think that's great because I'm sure that most of those residents that served are very proud of their service.
Yes.
And I know that those who have served that I know personally are very pleased and very grateful when others remember what they've done.
And they love to talk about it.
Okay, you know what we're looking for, so look around. I know we're all busy. I know we all think, oh my gosh, I just don't have time to do that. But you know, you'd be surprised if you say, okay, I spend 10 minutes a day doing this and I don't really need to, and 15 minutes went for that yesterday, and you know, that was a waste of time. And pretty soon you've got a whole hour that you can put together. And sometimes volunteering doesn't even take a whole hour. We've got lots of organizations out there besides Lock Haven that we hope you'll keep in mind, like the Community Child Development Center. They're always looking for help. And as strange as it may sound, they also look for one-on-one volunteers like they like to have at Lock Haven, where somebody can sit down and read a story to that child or just sit and visit with them. Because it's hard when you're a little bitty guy and mom and dad have to go off to work and you're in a place with a whole bunch of strangers. So to have somebody special that comes and talks to you once a week or so is a really neat thing. Don't forget places like the Agape Cafe with both their in-house meals and their home-delivered meals on Saturday. You can also talk to the food pantry. They always need volunteers for the monthly distribution. Now keep in mind that for certain kinds of volunteering, you may be subject to a background check, and over on the emergency food pantry side, that's a requirement. I believe it's a requirement at Lock Haven as well, and probably out at the Community Child Development Center, because I know that you all understand how important it is that the contacts that we present to the folks in these programs are safe and good. So we're going to see you in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, you take care and take time to volunteer. Thank you.